Out-of-division games are pretty rare in the AUDL, but they are becoming more common in recent seasons. Historically for the Empire, they did miss out on championship weekend quite a few times in those first early years because of the Toronto Rush's dominance, so they didn't see any out-of-division foes for those weekends. The Empire first faced an out-of-division opponent in 2014, taking on Chicago in the playoffs where they were victorious. Then Empire fans had to wait all the way to 2018, where the Empire finally made a trip to championship weekend by downing Toronto, though unfortunately they did lose to Dallas in that first round of the playoffs. The following season, the Empire finally faced a non-division opponent in the regular season, making the trip down to Raleigh for a 25-24 win that was as memorable as you'd want. Then championship weekend again in 2019. I don't need Indianapolis or Dallas to tell you what happened there. 2021 was a bit funky, of course, with Carolina, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta all being Atlantic Division opponents, but San Diego was the new opponent in the playoffs, along with Raleigh again. Last season, the Empire's schedule stuck to the script, just meaning Carolina and Chicago at championship weekend. And with the out-of-division game against Atlanta earlier this season, that brings us to today, which really does bring us to this weekend's road trip out to Colorado Salt Lake, and why I bring this up as the headline of this video and the headline of this road trip. Due to the location, as in the altitude, as well as the overall records of the opponents. Colorado is 8-3 and Salt Lake is 11-0. And the fact that it's in back-to-back days on the road against teams playing at home, so not neutral sites, that makes this the most challenging road trip in Empire history, including the postseason. I hear you about the stakes of the game, of a regular season game being different from the postseason, but New York against Salt Lake on Saturday could very well be a preview of the championship game if all things go to chalk when it comes to overall records. And if they weren't meeting on Saturday, there would have been about a 15% chance that they could have met in a championship game. And that number might even be a bit too conservative. But jumping into the preview, while it feels like Salt Lake is the main course, I wouldn't feel like Colorado is much of an appetizer either. It's more like you have a main course one night, and then even if you're feeling full, you've got to have another main course the next night. Colorado came within a goal of Salt Lake just a few weeks ago, and they are full of playmakers on both sides of the disc. Some people follow the league and might know the names, but that's not everybody, so let me key in. Alex Atkins, Cody Spicer, Jonathan Nethercutt, who have played 8, and 6 games respectively, they get a lot of the headlines. And for good reason. Each of the three has been the hub of the offense at times this season, and that includes Spicer switching over for around 40 points. Calvin Stockton has only played 3 games, but the U24 Mama Bird product is a big-time addition, quickly leading the team in goals per game. But the identity of this Summit team comes in those quote-unquote other guys, who are some of the best other guys in the entire league. Quinn Feiner, Jay Frood, Noah Kuhlman, Matt Jackson, and Sam Goldstein have all played all 11 games this season, and Feiner and Frood are 1 and 2 in plus-minus. But while Feiner busted onto the scene last season as a new face in the league, I don't want to underrate how good he's been this season. 27 goals, 29 assists, leads the team in both of those categories. But it feels like he's making less earth-shattering highlights this season because he looks totally and completely comfortable with both his team and the AUDL field now. When everyone is available and healthy, there are a few 20s in the league that can compete with the pedigree of the Summit, but availability has been an issue this season. Healthy and at home, New York will have their work cut out for them. And awaiting New York less than 24 hours later is the Shred, who at 11-0 have the best record in the league, and if not for the New York Empire, have an argument as being the best that the league has had to offer in 2023. Joel Clutton re-signing, of course, that's the big news from Salt Lake over the last few weeks. The 2022 All-Defense selection takes an above-average D-line in the league and arguably makes it elite. And of course, it'll be exciting to see him and Chad Jorgensen, Kyle Weinberg, Johnny Hoffman, Eugene LaRue, and the rest of that impressive Shred D against the Empire's O-line. But I think the attention should be on the Empire's D-line against the Salt Lake O-line. 9 players for Salt Lake rotate on O, and it's a who's who of players who can do a lot of things. Jordan Kerr is an MVP candidate, and teammate Jacob Miller probably is too. But it's not just them. Sean Canole's big arm can be a problem. Luke and McKay Jorgensen are athletic and safe. Jace Dunabile is an end zone menace. Will Selfridge is quick and an all-around menace. And Elijah Jaime is always in the end zone too. Oh yeah, then there's this guy Grant Lindsley, who Empire fans might remember helped lead the team to the 2019 AUDL Championship, the first in their history. I honestly don't know what 2 wins, 2 losses, or even a split would mean for the Empire's title hopes. I would say that even if the West Division teams make some history, New York will come out of the road trip having gotten exactly what they wanted out of it. They wanted to test themselves out of the division against the best that the AUDL had to offer in 2023 to prepare them for the playoffs. And who better to prepare them for the playoffs than one of the 2 teams from the West that you may likely meet at championship weekend. So I'd say that this road trip is going to be doing exactly what they wanted to do. And for those counting at home, even counting the road trip, that's 11 games played this season. The Empire do have one more on the 22nd, that following Saturday against Montreal at Joseph F. Field. And as always, we'll see you there.